Welcome, everybody, to Midday Magazine for this Thursday, November 14th, 2024. Have your host, James J. Malouf, here. In part two today at 4:30, we're going to talk to our friend Anna Mitchell, natural resource educator with UW-Madison. We're going to talk a little bit about wildlife and some other things. Right now, we have with us on the phone lines our new friend, Kristin Conway. She is joining us from Out Loud MC. Let's talk a little bit about what Out Loud MC is with Kristin and find out more about that great organization. But before we do that, Kristin, I gotta ask a couple of hard questions first. Number one, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. It doesn't seem like a hard question, but sometimes you get asked that one and you're not expecting it. You don't know how to answer always.
Right.
And of course, I certainly want to ask you about you. Would you mind, Kristin, giving us a little bit of your origin story, a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So, I grew up in central Wisconsin, went away for school in the big city of Minneapolis for a few years, and then, like a lot of folks, I came on back to be closer to my siblings and my parents. I've been living in Wausau now for, 24 years, and I've been working in nonprofits. That's kind of been the trajectory of my life. So I started, if any of you are familiar with the Roller Derby League around central Wisconsin, that's something that I started a few years ago when I was a stay-at-home mom. Mm-hmm. I've just been living here. I've got 4 kids and a spouse over in Wausau and working for nonprofits.
Well, and we appreciate that work a lot, especially we're fans of roller derby around here, so we love the work you put into that, and certainly appreciate anybody putting so much of their life and their time into our nonprofits. We appreciate that, Kristin, and you and the team. And I want to talk about the team and the group and the people and the work and message and reason, really, for Out Loud MC. Can we let the audience know what Out Loud MC is?
Sure. So Out Loud MC stands for Marathon County, the LGBTQ Center. We're a new organization, started the paperwork back in March. By May, we were organized enough that we had 11 board members. We were able to participate in both Wausau and Stevens Point Pride events. We had tables set up. We spent the first couple months just collecting data from people around the community, wanting to know, what types of things they would look for in an LGBTQ center, who would come, what types of events do you want? Do you want support groups or just to get some data so we could decide on our programming. So, we've just been, don't have a physical space yet. We're really just kind of, like I said, we spent a few months defining, trying to figure out what we wanted to do, how we wanted to do it, what the community needed. So that was the first thing.
And Kristin, I'm really well said, and I appreciate the way you worded that, especially because you teed me up. I wanted to get into you guys did the homework on this. You didn't just open this center. You found that the community could use this, that this had a need, it had a place and a gray area that we weren't covering in our society.
Right. Yeah. And so my job that I get paid for allows me to go to Pride events. So for the last 2 years, I've traveled to different Pride events around the state. I've been in La Crosse and Eau Claire, Green Bay, Madison, Milwaukee. And part of that, too, is while I've been there is talking to the people that are running. There's an LGBTQ center in La Crosse. There's one in Eau Claire. There's one in Appleton. There's several down in Madison and Milwaukee. And I really got to know the people that are running that and talk to them. And, what is everyone says their most popular program involves gaming. So that was a fun little thing that we're going to be implementing. But, just talking to them and finding out, what their origin story was and what needs they're filling in the community. So that was really helpful, too, in the planning process.
It's good to hear. And certainly, the more resources, the more minds you can go to, ideas you can have, the better sharing of information, the better for them, for you guys, for all of the above. And I do want to take a moment, Kristin, to just because especially people that haven't done the kind of work before and everything, and I only know a little bit about this, but to pull off what you all did, to get a nonprofit started in that amount of time, that's no small feat. Nicely done by all of you. That's really impressive work.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it was really a team effort. Once I got the first I just held an informational meeting. It was just me and my laptop at a business here, and I was shocked by how many people were interested just to come and find out I mean, there were 45 people there, and I was expecting maybe 5. So there was a lot of interest in the beginning. And then, like I said, I've done this before with the Roller Derby League, which was on a much smaller scale, but I knew how to write the bylaws and what paperwork we needed and where we needed to file and what those fees were to pay for that. So but it was a real team effort. Once I got a few key individuals on board who were motivated like I was, it really came together pretty quickly.
And Kristin, I think anybody, no matter what age they are and how you're living, you can see where we are going as a world, as a country, where this is becoming more and more a part of our daily lives, more and more a part of our just way of being and way of life. And it always has been. It's always been there. It's been there since the dawn of time. It's just now being more seen and being more open and honestly more inclusiveness and more representation. I want to note one thing here. Not to speak for you, just for myself here, Kristin. I'm a straight guy. I am nothing unordinary, but ordinary at the same time. But I see a need from people like myself to stand by the rainbow, to stand by the LGBTQ plus community, because I know this as a mixed kid. It's not very surprising for me to be behind civil rights issues. You would think I would be. There's a certain bit of interest in it for me. It makes sense. It makes sense that if somebody under the rainbow umbrella would be behind this. But for people that aren't under that rainbow, it's that much more important for us to stand by these things too. It means something when we believe in these causes, when we stand by these. I had an uncle growing up who was homosexual, and he died from HIV. This was something he believed in very much. It was something very important to him that, yes, it means something for a Jewish person to stand behind Jewish causes, but it means so much more when we have people from other faiths standing with them. It means something more. And so to have individuals in our community, all types, standing by this, it's not only wonderful to see and encouraging, which we could all use a little bit more of in our day-to-day lives, but it's also, again, this is where society is going. There's no rewinding this. There's no putting the genie back in the bottle. That we're only going more forward with this. And it's important to have organizations like Out Loud around for that.
Right, absolutely. And that's something, too, like I struggled with in the beginning because I don't identify as LGBTQ. And the reason I think I got interested in this and started, doing the advocacy is because I have 2 queer kids. And having a 14-year-old here, I needed support. I needed resources, and there was nothing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where this stemmed from is I need to stand up for my kid, and I need to fight for services for my kid, and I don't know where to go or who to talk to or what the process is. So that's kind of what one of our goals is to create this resource. And that's one of the first programs we started was a parent support group.
Yeah. That tees us up perfectly for that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just to get, the support group. And we've had only one meeting. We have our second one tonight. But the first meeting went really well. I met a wonderful group of individuals and we shared stories. And this was pre-election, so I'll see how tonight's goes post-election. There might be a different vibe in that room, I'm sure. People that I'm talking to are petrified. Are getting passports type of petrified because they're not sure where they're going to go here. So
understandable. And all the more, what great timing to have that parent caregiver support group going on tonight. It'll be from 6 to 8. It's great to hear about the turnout and the good reception that you got the first go around. Let's hope for more of the same tonight. Where does this take place, Kristin?
Well, like I said, new nonprofits, can't just get a loan and start a business. We have to rely on donations. So we don't have a physical space yet. We're using Rise Up as an organization here in Wausau that has a space that are loaning us their building when we need it for meetings and events. We also are using other spaces. We have a Thanksgiving chosen family and friends meal coming up, so that we're utilizing a different space for that. So we're just kind of begging and borrowing spaces where we can find it until we're starting the process to look for a space, and then probably after the holidays and the new year.
Well, I will not shy away from it to the audience. Part of having you on with us is hopefully bringing some attention and some awareness and some funds to that, and maybe we can get you guys a place.
Oh yeah, that would be great. And we have, like I said, we've got 11 board members, and I was just looking after the election too. We had really a lot of people who have volunteered to be on committees or to. One thing we want to get up and running is a peer mentorship. There are a lot of individuals, my friends here, the Gen Xers like me, who said, "Yeah, I grew up here and it was rough, but I stayed here and I came back," and they want to connect with the younger generation. The queer kids that are coming up to say it does get better, and this is what my experience was, but I made it through, and you can too.
Well said. We're speaking with Kristin Conway from Out Loud MC, and talking a little bit about the events coming up. Again, a great one going on tonight. Parent caregiver support group happening from 6 to 8 tonight. You also have a couple of great events happening in the month of November here. I see a transgender non-binary support group for 18 plus kids Friday, November 22nd from 6 to 8. What will this event be like?
We kind of, there was a group that was working here for a few years back called TransFam. That was a little bit of the same. It was trans adults and their families, and one of their members is now on our board. So we're kind of combining those two. So this will be, a peer support group for transgender and non-binary support for folks over the age of 18. And then we're hoping there's some insurance questions once you start working with youth that we're going to work through, but we're definitely going to be doing some groups that are just for the youth focused.
It's a great idea, and it's such I imagine, a key part of Out Loud. Well, it is a key part of Out Loud, as you gave us your own personal story there, which I really do appreciate you sharing. This is so we're not certainly want to help adults and want adults involved in this, but this is so much about the kids and the teens and giving them not only support but guidance and help in any way they might need.
Right. Yeah. One of the things when I started and kind of looking at what our mission was, and because I know kind of the area, I wanted to make sure that we had support for why we're starting. So I dug into some data, like Marathon County, and I'm not sure if over in Portage County and Wood County they do this, but like they do a life report, and they kind of get statistics. And going through the last data life report, which was in 2021, it showed that LGBTQ plus kids are, more at risk for depression, anxiety, for risk of suicide. And so, we have that data. So that's a good thing, definitely to put it in our business plan so that we can say, like, this is the data shows that, our kids need support, especially our queer kids need support through this. Mm-hmm. So that's something we're trying to work on. Mm-hmm.
And on Wednesday, November 27th, a Chosen Family and Friends meal will be happening from 2 to 6. This seems like people I think they talk better over food. I think I know that we all know that food really brings people together, but I think that something like this is a really nice idea, and it could be even a nice icebreaker for some.
Right. Yeah, and we just had a little really informal last minute get together on Saturday, kind of a community building event, and we had so many people come in that were strangers to each other that sat down and played cards or playing board games, and that was really cool to see. And like people walked in and said, "I'm usually socially awkward. I don't know how long I'll stay." Well, they were there after I left. They stayed and met a bunch of people, and they were playing cards. So that was a really, really important thing, and people need that now. They need community, and they need to be around people that support them.
To that point, I want to encourage people to bookmark these events, make plans to attend them, and you can find out about them and more at outloudmc.org, outloudmc.org. We'll give that email address again before we wrap up. And I want to get into, before we get too far down the line as well, Kristin, about how people can get involved, because we may have people out there listening to this, and maybe they have family members or children that are part of this, but maybe they're not, and maybe they just want to help. Maybe they just want to be a part of things. Are there ways for people to help people to get involved in this with the center?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We have, we're just starting committees. So we did, like I said, there's 11 of us that are very dedicated and very willing to do the hard work that we've done in the last few months. And now I'm like, okay, now we can separate. We've got programming starting. So we're going to be doing a fundraising committee to work on some ideas in order to bring in funds. We're planning for a prom in the spring, which I know it seems it's not even winter yet, and we're planning for spring. But that's definitely going to be something where we're going to need a lot of hands on deck to assist with the logistics of that, and just more ideas from people too. That what sorts of outside the box ideas do you have for fundraising or for events? Something that we can really bring in a lot of the community, because even though we are primarily for LGBTQ individuals, we really we know the importance of community, and like you said earlier, having allies around and rallying and being able to speak up is good.
And Krista, we mentioned that this is a Marathon County-based organization, but people from Wood and surrounding counties are welcome to this?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, we're just primarily based in Marathon County, and I have friends in Stevens Point who have said to me, "We need something like this here," and I said, "Well, I have the paperwork. I can show you how to do it. I just I can't be in two places at once." So, I mean, that might be something in the future, too.
And it does speak to the need for this, as we were touching on in the beginning of the conversation, that this organization exists for a reason, and more like it or an extension of it will be following. I have no doubt in all of our counties, and not just here, but around the country. We'll get into. I want to wrap up with some stats about that, but before we do that, I do also want to mention volunteering. Volunteering is a great way to put back into your community, to put back into an organization like this. It looks great on a college resume as well, to all you seniors out there and everything, juniors and seniors, I should say. Volunteering is another great way to impact things and to help.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And like I said, right now we're all kind of volunteer run. A lot of us are lucky in that we have flexible jobs, real jobs that we get paid for, so that we can, I can take this call in the middle of the day and someone can run and make copies, as needed. But we definitely there are just small things that we could definitely use help with, especially when we're searching for a building, and the people that, if you have connections or somebody who knows somebody who can assist, I am always willing to. I mean, that's how you and I found each other, right?
Yep,
We had a friend of a friend. So we're always, looking for that community connection.
And that's so important. That's such a key part of this, too. We've kind of touched on it throughout the conversation, how important communication and community truly are, not just to this, but to our better future and into a better future for our kids and for the youth, which is what this is all about as adults, is setting things up to make things better for others. I wish I could remember it verbatim, but the wonderful Native American quote, "We don't plant trees to watch them grow. We plant them for others to." That's what a lot of this is about. And as we're wrapping up, I also wanted to mention that there are resources out there for people. The OutLoudMC.org website has a great list of those. There is the Trevor Project, which has been doing some great work for decades, really. GLAD is there as well. You can find out more about that. Natural Center for Transgender Equality is also there. There are links and there are ways for you to find out more about those, especially for those, as I've talked to and I've found from friends over the years. Even in the climate that we have nowadays, and maybe because of the climate we have nowadays, are not always. It takes them maybe a beat to be able to go to an event like this, or to even call you guys, or to reach out, or to any of or to volunteer some of that. So sometimes your first step is just on your own, you and your laptop, diving into this and getting more into the topic and seeing what Out Loud is doing. You again can do that at OutLoudMC.org. And while you're doing that, I want to remind everybody that there is a great newsletter on there, Kristin.
Yep, that's a new thing, and it's just we're trying to do a monthly. Here are the events we're doing. I also try to include like a kind of a resource of the month, some videos, for learning purposes, because part of our mission too is to educate the community. Important days right now is Transgender Awareness Week, so just highlighting those important events that are coming up. And then we have a Ask Us Anything kind of part, which surprisingly nobody has done that yet. But we're always willing to ask questions or answer questions, especially hard ones, because sometimes people don't feel comfortable answering them, and that's why we're here. So.
Yeah, and these things take time to build. You guys just got going here, and as we bring more awareness and attention to the organization, you're going to get those questions. I have no doubt. I've worked with over the years a lot of nonprofits that are just starting out, and this is how it usually begins and works. And before you know it, you guys are too busy. I have no doubt in my mind, especially with something like this, that the community is going to be not only asking those questions but showing up at these events and having your back. We really cannot encourage you enough, too. One of the ways you can do that is certainly supporting them on social media. You guys have a Facebook and Instagram accounts?
Correct.
Yeah. Be sure to go throw into your search bar on those sites Out Loud MC. Just throw that in there and you can find it. I was able to. You can also go to outloudmc.org to click right to those resources and those links, and as well as all the other resources, and find out about the events and how you can get involved like we did today. Kristin, I can't thank you enough to you and your team, that board, for doing something like this and doing so much for our youth and our communities. We appreciate you, and thanks so much for joining us and putting up with my questions.
Thank you for having me.
You take care, Kristin. Thanks again, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Sounds great. Thanks.
We'll be back with more Midday Magazine right here at 97.5 FM, 1320 AM, WFHR. We are locally grown radio.